Hey guys, welcome back to another INZOI video, and today we're going to be talking through 15 of the core gameplay features of INZOI. Now this video is for the beginners, but also for the regular players, as I'm going to do kind of an overview of all of the core gameplay features, talk you through the UI, some things you need to change in your settings, so you definitely might learn a thing or two, but also if you have anything else to add, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. But before we get started, I want to talk to you all a little bit about my INZOI creator code. So if you have enjoyed any of my INZOI videos over the last year or so, it would mean so much to me if you used my INZOI creator code EMMA. Basically, you put this into the game after you've already purchased it. So if you head into the game options, scroll down to gameplay, and then all the way at the bottom, you have the INZOI creator code and put in my code EMMA. You'll get some in-game rewards like this really cool INZOI t-shirt. And every time your Zoi wears it, they'll actually get a special mood. And you'll also really support me as a creator with a commission for any purchases that you make in the game. So if you do end up using my code, please let me know so I can say a huge thank you. So the first core gameplay mechanic that I want to talk to you all about is the camera controls and the WASD keys. So there are basically two views in INZOI. Now the first one is where you have a much more kind of overview, top view of your Zoi. And with that, you'll use your mouse, and basically you hold the left side of the mouse to kind of move around the screen and the right side of the mouse to change the angle of view. Your second option is to hit the tab key on your keyboard, and that will give you an over-the-shoulder view. So you'll feel much more intimate with your Zoi, and by default, the ceilings in the, if you're in a room, the ceilings will be placed, and you'll get that full effect of kind of intimacy and being in the room with your Zoi. So personally though, I prefer just hitting tab and having that more overview perspective, because then you can really get a lay of the land and see where your Zoi's going and all the options. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to actually control and move your Zoi. So of course you have the WASD keys on your keyboard, and that is to go forward, back, left, right. That's probably how you're seeing a lot of the creators control their Zoi. That's also how I prefer to move my Zoi, because then you can kind of just walk around and explore and do things much more naturally. But you also have another option to do the click and move interaction. So click, walk here, click, run here, click, get something from the vending machine, and then you don't even have to use your keyboard really. You can just control your Zoi with the click interactions. So two different options of how to control your Zoi, and you can do whichever one is easier for you. Next up, we can change the UI. So the screen is actually customizable. So there's a lot of data points and information on the screen, and all of it is pretty useful, but it is kind of scattered. So if you're finding it to be a little bit all over the place, you can drag the individual data points into whatever area of the screen you find it easier to look at. So if you want all of that information down in the bottom, then you can drag all of it down in the bottom. If you want it, for example, it was useful from when I was streaming, I kind of dragged it away from where my camera was, or I dragged everything into a vertical perspective. So you can really drag and arrange the UI to what is better for you. Next up, we're going to be talking about autonomy. So autonomy is basically when your Zoi thinks for themselves and does things that they want to do for their needs without you having to do a thing. So for example, if your Zoi is feeling tired, if you have autonomy turned on, your Zoi will automatically go to bed. If your Zoi has autonomy turned off and your Zoi is exhausted, they'll just stand there and do nothing and wait for you to control them. So if you kind of like to play games passively, turn the autonomy on down in the bottom, and then your Zoi will just walk around, do what they want. Here my Zoi is just socializing with some friends, and you don't have to do a thing. You can just watch and observe. But if you like to be super controlling like me, turn autonomy off, and then you can tell them what to do. Now we're going to be talking about the saving in the game. So INZOI has autosave, and by default it's autosaves every 15 minutes. Now personally, I found that to kind of clog my save file, which I'll show you in a second. So you can turn autosave off. You can also keep autosave on and adjust it to a shorter window or a longer window. So really kind of figure out if your game is likely to crash, if your maybe Wi-Fi is unstable. All of those factors will help you decide whether to keep your autosave on or off. But personally, I like to turn autosave off and then just regularly manually save. every, I don't know, 20 minutes because I haven't noticed any crashes in the game. Okay, moving on to something much more exciting, and that is the open world of the game. So we're jumping back into gameplay, and I want to show you all that INZOI has an incredible map to go out and explore. So what open world basically means in a game is there's not really any loading screens between different venues, between different locations on a map. Your Zoi has the ability to just go out and explore all the different areas pretty easily. So for example, there's coffee shops, there's cat cafes, there's fortune tellers, there's a surf shop, there's I don't know, there's an amusement park, there's a library, there's a lot of fun lots. If you press M on your keyboard, you'll have an overview of the entire map and all of the little icons or different places that you can visit and check out. And you have a couple different ways on how to travel to those lots. So the easiest one is to walk or run. If you hold down your shift button, you can run, and that's just the easiest way. Be careful of road traffic though. Here we're visiting a surf shop, and you can buy stuff in the different shops. Each shop has a little different unique selection. Another way to move around the map is public transport. Bliss Bay has buses, and Dowon has an underground metro service. So you'll find those scattered all throughout the map, and all you need to do is kind of walk into it. So either walk into the bus or walk down into the metro. From there, you just select where you want to go, and it will transport you there through a little loading screen. So open world, go out and explore the map and all of the fun little shops and activities. Which brings me to my next point. Another way to move around the map is by driving. So if you head into your game settings, scroll down to gameplay, and there's the option to have driving experimental, enable manual driving on or off. I think by default it might be on, but double check because it might be off in your game. And if you want a manual drive, you'll need to have that turned on. So if you want to purchase a car, first click on your smartphone and you have the Dream Car app, and you'll have the option to buy a car, make sure you have enough money in your bank account to get the dream car, and buy the car. By default, the car will kind of pop up right in front of your home lot, so your apartment or house. And there's some fun interactions with the car, but if you click enter car driving seat, then that will transport you into the manual driving view. And from there, you use those same WASD keys to drive around. But if you click tab, you have that very intimate perspective from your Zoi's eyes, and you can drive around that way, again, using WASD. I find that to be way harder. If you hit a car too fast, then it will take both of your Zois out of their car and they'll start having an argument, and then you'll get a little pop-up saying that you just had a car crash. So definitely follow the rules of the road. Which brings me to my next point, the pop-ups. So this is a traffic accident pop-up, but there'll be lots of pop-ups all throughout the game. And there's a timer down in the bottom right, which will say something like closes automatically in X number of seconds. If you're finding like that pop-up is too fast or too slow, head back into your game options, down to gameplay, other, and you can actually turn off that auto close pop-up. So it will allow you to read it at your own time and then manually close it when you've finished reading it. Now I want to talk about something that a lot of you have had questions about, and that is money cheats, the ability to cheat the money in your household pot. And the answer is yes, there are money cheats in the game. The currency is called Meow, and if you head over to Psycat's Guide, then down in the bottom left where you have customer support and emergency rescue, you also have money cheat, which will give you 100,000 Meow. Every time you click it, you can just become a millionaire by just a couple clicks. So yeah, there is a money cheat in the game. But a quick little disclaimer, I actually haven't found a way to change how much money you have in your bank account, so you can't like start from zero, for example. So I'm not actually sure if there's another way around the money cheat. So they've said that the goal is to have all of them as active careers, which is super exciting. I love career gameplay, but let me talk you through how it works. Go onto your smartphone again in the bottom, and you can, under careers, you can look under the recruitment to see what jobs are available in your specific city. So Dowon One and Bliss Bay have different options. So there's things like amusement park worker, a finance office, a journalist, music agent. There's also part-time work as well that you can do. So there's a lot of different options. And then within those different careers, there's also different tiers, all the way from like, I don't know, an assistant worker or a cashier maybe, to a CEO or a manager of some sort. So once you get approved for your job, it will then appear in your schedule. So load up your schedule and you'll see all the different blocks of when you're expected to be at work. So we are an amusement park worker. We're working 3 times per week. And something I want to show you that is really cool is that if you click on those blocks, you actually can customize, drag and drop how long each shift is. So if you're feeling like you're spending way too long at work in a working week, then just drag that slider down and give yourself a couple hours at work a day and then go off and enjoy your life. Here's an example of us going to work as an amusement park worker. So this is the office, and first things first is we're gonna go to our locker and change into our uniform. And then we're walking out into the amusement park, and in the top left, you'll pop up the job tasks. Now these are obviously going to be very specific to whatever career you've chosen. So for the Bliss Bay amusement park, it's things like cleaning the floor of the amusement park, it's fixing the entrance to certain rides, it is entertaining guests, things like that. So all of it is going to be very related to the career. There's also going to be timers on those actual activities, so make sure you complete them within the allocated time slot. So once you finish all the tasks in a day and you do that for a couple days in a row, then you'll be in the chances for a promotion. Next to that little relationship panel that you have on the bottom right, just next to it on the left, you have information about that individual ZOI, so kind of their ZOI card. And there's an option to look at their preferences. So if you click that up, you'll see an overview of a few different activities. You got instruments, reading, nature, food, fitness, and there'll either be a heart or a broken heart underneath some of them. And that basically shows the preferences that that specific ZOI has. So some of them will naturally build up depending on how your ZOI has interacted with those objects in the world, but you can also manually go and change those preferences. So say you really want to create a creative ZOI, then go under those hobbies and put hearts just by clicking on the icons next to those creative hobbies. And if you want them to hate housework, for example, you just double click on those icons and it will give you a broken heart. And that's just a really good way to fine tune your ZOI's preferences in life. Here we have a ZOI that hates cooking, and we've made her go and cook. And you'll see in the bottom left, she got a lethargic mood and basically says that she's doing an activity that she hates. So the ZOIs really do respond to those preferences. Also in your ZOI card is something called urges, and urges will also appear down in the bottom of that main screen right above your ZOI's face. So urges are things that will randomly pop up in a ZOI's day-to-day of urges and things that they want to do and achieve. So some of these are really random, like your ZOI wants to show off their muscles in a mirror. Just do what your ZOI wants to do and you'll be rewarded with meow, which I'll talk about later. And you'll also be rewarded with moods. So you might get a happy mood or a focused mood. And it's just a good way to get a feeling for what your ZOI wants in life, what your ZOI wants to do day to day. Some of them are silly, some of them are a bit more meaningful. So you have the meow currency, that is separate, but you also have the meow store, and those are little coins that you get from doing those urges, and you can spend them in this meow store, and it's things like helping you with your needs. So if you're feeling like your ZOI is sleeping too much, you can buy certain things for their needs. Okay, now we are talking about weather. So weather is definitely something in INZOI that you'll need to keep in mind. So it will be raining suddenly. This is like the middle of spring and it's started downpouring. If you click on your ZOI, you can actually change their outfit into either like winter wear, or there's a raincoat option, which is really cute. There's also umbrellas in the game. You can buy the umbrella stand in the build mode of the game, and you'll also see the ZOIs around the world holding their umbrellas, which is really cute. But it's really cool because you'll see all the ZOIs have wet clothes, so it feels really realistic. If you go into your world overview and the city appearance, under weather, you can actually change the weather yourself. There are 3 levels of rain, 3 levels of snow. This is what the third level of rain looks like. It is even more downpouring, torrential rain, and there's also thunder and lightning. So just something to note though is that the weather effect that you change is only gonna work for about 55, 60 minutes in game, which is only really like a couple minutes. So it's not a permanent weather state change, it's just a temporary weather state change. This is also what the snow looks like, by the way. So the weather will change automatically, but you can change it manually if you want to create a certain effect for photos or for gameplay or whatever. Okay, moving on to something that you'll need to keep on top of throughout your entire gameplay of INZOI, and that is cleaning. So cleaning is such a big part of this game. Your apartment will get so messy if you don't stay on top of your cleaning, and you can see immediately the transformation that a bit of vacuuming does. So this is my Zoe just walking around her apartment, and we've clicked the floor to clean here, and after like a couple seconds of vacuuming, they'll have this like little effect and your area within a certain radius will become clean. You'll need to do this every few days, and you'll also first need to head into the build mode and buy a vacuum or a mop and actually have some cleaning supplies scattered around your apartment. Another side of this is you'll need to wash your laundry. So my laundry machine honestly breaks all the time. I end up replacing it pretty much like every few days, but washing your laundry is also part of that. Your Zoe will have dirty clothes if you don't. It will have this gray effect over it. So cleaning is very important. Okay, we've made it to our last core gameplay feature in INZOI, and that is karma. So there's a whole side of this game that I haven't even touched upon yet, and that is the karma system in the game. So the whole point of the game is you are basically an intern at this AR management company where you are basically just trying to bring the city to perfect harmony, to make everyone happy. And you basically have this overview of how your city is operating. So you can control the strength of friendships, you can control the strength of romance, you can control how successful people are, you can control the crime rates. So you really have so much control over the city as a whole. I will do a whole nother video on this because it really deserves a lot of attention, but just kind of top level stuff. The consequences of you controlling all of that is through something called karma. The goal is to have all of your citizens have a good karma score so that they're good people. They do good things in the world, and that equals a good karma score. But of course, you have bad people in the world, and they'll have a bad karma score, and the goal is to have more good people and less bad people. So this is just like an overview in your management report where you can see how many good people versus bad people you have, and you can actually reward some of your good, best karma citizens. And that will be things like making them win the lottery or have a particularly good day at work or something like that. So you can actually reward your good karma citizens. And you can also then, on the opposite side of that, scold your bad karma citizens, and that will be things like offering them the opportunity to do charity work. I just want to quickly show you what happens though when you have a city full of bad Zois. So this is the karma status of caution, and we went way past warning, and we have so many bad Zois that it's fully cautioned me now. But from the perspective of your Zoi going about life day to day, probably the way most of you are going to play the game, if you click on your Zoi card again down in the bottom right, you have your karma score, and this can be neutral, this can be good, bad, terrible. The goal is to be neutral and above. You'll see karma actions everywhere. So it can be things like on the computer wishing for a colleague's promotion. It can be things like donating money to charity. It can be just being a good person out on the streets and complimenting people. You can also click on a mailbox and you have the option to donate to the local community. So there's karma interactions everywhere, and you'll then see it reflected on your karma score with the arrow hopefully going up. All right, so that is 15 of the core gameplay mechanics in INZOI. I feel like I was really having to rush some of those because I really wanted to get all 15 in this video. If you're feeling a little confused on any of those specifically, let me know down below and I will do my best to kind of explain them more in detail. But regardless, I hope you found this video useful. You can expect much more INZOI content from me, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!